A midlife crisis is more than just a cultural stereotype. It's a real psychological struggle that can surface between the ages of 40 and 60. Often triggered by aging, loss, or unmet expectations, it can actually lead individuals to question their identity, make impulsive choices, or abruptly abandon long term commitments. While not officially classified yet as a mental illness, the emotional and relational fallout is very real, especially for the spouses and families left behind. This podcast gives voice to those living through the aftermath, exposing the hidden pain, and seeking accountability, healing, and understanding. Thank you for joining us today on MLC Bomb Drop and Beyond. The stories and events discussed in this podcast are for informational and entertainment purposes only and should not be considered legal, medical, or professional advice. Any names, locations, or identifying details have been changed to protect privacy. Any similarities to actual persons, living or dead, or real events are purely coincidental. The information presented on this podcast is for informational purposes only and should not be considered as professional advice. Always consult with a qualified expert regarding any decisions related to your specific situation. The views expressed by guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the opinions of the host or the podcast creators. Did you know that your nervous system is always scanning for a threat? We are actually wired with something called neuroception, the unconscious detection of safety or danger. Even when a person presents as charming, your body picks up on subtle incongruences like facial microexpressions, a flatness behind their eyes, inconsistent tone of voice, a predatory stillness, or even unpredictable shifts in their mood. Your body senses dysregulation. People with covert narcissistic, sociopathic, or shadow traits often have chaotic, unstable inner worlds. Even if they act calm, the tension leaks out in ways that your body reads, like muscle tightening or a sense that something is off. Somatic memories from past experiences are triggered. If you've been hurt or manipulated before, your body now has a blueprint for danger. It remembers even if you consciously override it. This is why you might feel nauseated, foggy, or anxious when you're around someone who behaves similarly to a past abuser. Cognitive dissonance does not fool your physiology. Even if your mind rationalizes, like, oh, they seem pretty nice, or you know what, maybe I'm overreacting. You know what? Your body doesn't lie. This is why you may notice you just can't maintain eye contact. You might feel exhausted or drained after interacting with them. You freeze up or you go numb. And you feel you can't really be your full self. Our nervous systems evolved over thousands and thousands of years to detect the tiniest cues that someone's mask isn't real. Your gut feeling is a form of pattern recognition that your conscious mind cannot yet explain. Your body often knows the truth before your intellect does. It's alerting you that something about this person's energy, intention, or behavior is incongruent and potentially unsafe. Trusting these sensations rather than overriding them to be polite or avoid conflict is one of the most powerful forms of self-protection. So listen to your gut instincts and your intuition. Hey, welcome back to MLC Bomb Drop. Thanks for joining us today. So we had a question that came in about, does your body sense when there's danger or, somebody that you can't trust? And the answer is astoundingly yes. So today we're going to explore something that many of you have asked about. How does your body know that you're dealing with a shadow personality, a covert narcissist, sociopath, or someone who feels deeply unsafe, even before your mind can put it into words? This is such an important question, and it gets to the heart of how our nervous systems are designed. Our bodies are not just along for the ride. Actually, they're the most honest instrument you have. It is crazy. This is all new to me. It's so amazing. Neuroception, your inner alarm system. We all have this thing called neuroception. This is your nervous system's unconscious ability to detect a threat in your environment. Even if someone looks normal or says all the right things, your body picks up on micro expressions that don't match their words, a hollow or predatory stillness behind their eyes, subtle shifts in their voice tone, or that sense of being watched or studied like an object. You may not be able to name these cues right away, but man, your body is reading them like radar. And I can tell you, when I read this, I was like, wow, I totally remember meeting somebody where I felt like, I'm going to check those things. The predatory stillness, hollow behind the eyes, and a sense that they were studying me. Totally. So think about those things. People with covertly toxic personalities often have unstable, chaotic inner worlds. Even when they appear calm or charming, their inner tension may leak out, and your body's going to feel it. You might feel a tightness in your chest, shallow breathing, a creeping anxiety, just a sense that something is off. And that is your system alerting you to pay attention, stay on guard. And don't make excuses for people or for yourself, trust your intuition. That's why it's there. If you've been hurt, manipulated, or gaslit in the past, your body has learned what danger feels like. Even if your conscious mind is telling you, don't be rude, give them the benefit of the doubt, your body holds the memory. And I am queen of, give them the benefit of the doubt. Don't be rude. But no more. This is why you might feel nauseous, shaky, or frozen when you're around somebody whose energy resembles that past abuser, even if you can't logically explain it yet. One of the most common signs you're dealing with a covert narcissist or a sociopath is that your mind is constantly trying to talk you out of what your body already knows. You're going to be thinking, oh, I'm just being sensitive. Maybe I'm overreacting. But listen to your body because it never lies. Again, you may not be able to maintain eye contact comfortably. You may feel drained and depleted after seeing them. You freeze or dissociate, and you may feel like you're shrinking or disappearing. But at the end of the day, if you just feel like something's off, trust your body, something's off. So, what do you do when your intuition is screaming? Like, run. Or when it's just giving you a little, this is something doesn't feel right. All right, ground yourself. Put your feet on the floor, feel your body, breathe deeply. Um, you know, Validate your sensations. You don't have to justify it to anybody. Maybe set a boundary or create distance. If possible, maybe limit contact, step away, even end the interaction. You don't owe them closeness. And then think about it later. What was happening? What did you notice? And what did you sense that your mind might have missed, that your body was feeling, but that your mind didn't pick up on? And trust your first felt sense. Your first gut impression is usually the truest before your brain gets busy rationalizing all kinds of stuff. So listen to your gut. I remember I had dated somebody a long time ago that, he always had these sweet pet names for me, called me, baby girl, honey bunny, all kinds of stuff. And, for the life of me, I could never get a pet name for him. And I think my body knew. My body knew that this person was not to be trusted. And it just wouldn't let my mind make a real pet name. So that it's a real thing. Learning to honor that wisdom is the first step toward freeing yourself from people who are going to thrive on your self-doubt. And you deserve relationships where your body feels safe, relaxed, and at ease. So what about sociopaths and covert narcs? Do they sense in their body when they encounter somebody else who's similar to them and covertly narcissistic or sociopathic? Well, sociopaths and narcissists often do not experience this in the same way that empaths or neurotypical people do. Their nervous systems are wired differently. They're less attuned to authentic emotional signals like warmth, sincerity, or vulnerability. They are more attuned to opportunity, competition, a threat to their ego, or dominance. Those are the things that they are like picking up on. While they might sense another manipulator, it's not usually a somatic danger response the way you would feel in your body. It's more like they start thinking, "Oh, this person could be competitive to me," or "This person's going to be harder to fool, man," or "Oh, dude, this person is playing the same game as me." Isn't that crazy that they can pick up on those things? It's just crazy to me. So, um, do they feel it in their body? Well, not in the same empathic gut level way. Narcissists and sociopaths often have impaired interoception, and that's an awareness of internal body states because they are disconnected from genuine self reflection and emotion. So instead of a true anxiety response, they may experience irritation, contempt, or a cold calculation like, how do I outmaneuver this person? So, some higher functioning narcissists can feel a kind of predatory excitement or stimulation around other manipulators. It can even draw them in. Think of toxic relationships between two cluster B personalities, a total draw in. When a covert narcissist encounters another covert narc, they often feel subtle resentment or envy. They feel a desire to extract validation while at the same time also competing with them. And of course, they're going to feel a little discomfort that they can't fully control the narrative. But they usually don't have that body-based sense of I'm in an unsafe place in my soul. They don't feel like that. Their internal experience is definitely more ego-driven. Like, this person is a threat to my superiority. What about sociopath versus sociopath? Well, this is fun. They might recognize each other's lack of conscience. They might feel intrigued, challenged, or amused. It often becomes a power game rather than an emotional experience. Again, this is not the same as the dread, confusion, or stomach drop that an empath feels. Completely different. Really, is like two predators circling each other. Here's here's a little visual sort of for you guys. Like if you're at a professional networking event, we've got a covert narcissist and a sociopath. So the covert narc needs validation. They're excellent at playing the victim. They subtly manipulate, everything for sympathy. The sociopath is cold and charming, calculating, and they see relationships as transactions. Okay, so we're at a little networking event. The sociopath is going to size up the narcissist almost instantly. They're going to think to themselves, ooh, this one's needy, easy to exploit, but they're also slippery. The narcissist senses something is off, but instead of feeling fear in their body, they feel a little envy because they're like, wow, man, this person's so confident. They might feel insecure, thinking that the sociopath might see through them and see their true self. And at the same time, they're going to be intrigued, thinking maybe they can get their approval, the approval of the sociopath who's so confident, which is a real win-win for the narc. How is it different from an empath's response? The empath would feel somatic anxiety, tight chest, stomach drop, urge to flee. The sociopath feels bored curiosity or cold amusement. The narcissist feels ego discomfort, fear of being overshadowed, but not a deep dread. When they encounter each other, it's usually a strategic assessment, not an embodied alarm. They're thinking, can I control this person? Will they give me supply or be competition? How do I stay superior to the sociopath? They don't typically have the same visceral, body-based, this is unsafe feeling that an empath or neurotypical person might have. So what about during an MLC, if you've got a covert narcissist and a sociopath that hook up. It's like two predators circling the same carcass. The Anyway, they both admire each other's specialness. They may feel like they finally found somebody who gets them. The narcissist is flattered by the sociopath's confidence and charm, and the sociopath is intrigued by the narcissist's neediness, which makes them easier to control. They start testing each other's boundaries. The sociopath probes for weaknesses, like how far can I push them? The narcissist starts deploying guilt, pity, or passive aggression so they can try to keep control. And both want to be the center of attention and get their needs met. Neither one truly cares about the other's feelings. The narcissist craves admiration and reassurance. The sociopath is craving novelty, dominance, and advantage. Eventually, devaluation kicks in. Sociopath gets bored or contemptuous. The narcissist starts to feel unseen. They may start sulking, criticizing, of course, playing the victim. Both begin with holding affection as a way to punish and manipulate the other. Eventually, one may leave abruptly. They may remain locked in a cold transactional arrangement for many, many years. But at the same time, they're so volatile that it could completely erupt because neither person truly cares about the other's well-being. Emotional connection is totally superficial and conditional. They each see each other as a means to an end: status, resources, validation. Transactional. One may be in it for security, money, a roof over their head. The other may be in the transactional, for romantic, sexual fulfillment. But when one stops being useful, resentment builds fast. Covert narcissists are highly sensitive to criticism and shame. Sociopaths are often amused by poking at those sensitivities and love to, poke them that way to upset them, giving them control. And then you've got power struggles that escalate because neither one wants to feel inferior. Both are prone to pulling in third parties like flying monkeys enablers. And this creates jealousy, paranoia, and just more manipulation. The sociopath grows bored quickly. The narcissist continues to feel unappreciated. Both of them see each other as defective when the initial fantasy collapses. And this is why these pairings are often short-lived or turn into decades-long cold wars. And if you're watching this from the sidelines, if you're a friend or a family member, you might see that they start out real fast in their relationship. They declare each other soulmates very early. There's rapid cohabitation, financial entanglement, love bombing, inconsistent narratives like, they're amazing, and then they're abusive. They're amazing. They're abusive. You almost feel whiplash from the constant shifts. There's frequent breakups and reconciliation. Breakup, reconciliation, breakup, reconciliation. Public scenes, social media digs, smear campaigns. Total lack of accountability. Neither takes real responsibility for harm. Every conflict is blamed on the other's quote-unquote craziness. Triangulation. They pull you in to side with them. You're sort of pressured to validate one's victim story over the other's. You hear statements like, "Oh, they owe me. I can use this against them. I'll destroy them if they cross me." These relationships are usually not about love. They're about ego validation, dominance, control, extraction of resources. And if you're observing this, maintain strong boundaries. Avoid getting drawn into the drama as a rescuer, a judge, or a messenger. And this is so typical in MLC. And this can go on for years with an affair partner. And one thing, you got to wonder during MLC, do they realize what's going on? Is it subconscious, or do they know they're doing it? Well, some of it apparently is subconscious. Covert narcissists often believe their victim narratives. They totally believe what they're saying. Sociopaths often believe that they deserve to exploit others. Some of it is fully conscious. They can be aware when they're lying, manipulating, or withholding, and they don't care if it hurts you. The difference is that they often feel entitled to behave this way, and it doesn't keep them up at night because their conscious is either underdeveloped or compartmentalized. So that is what you're seeing at Bomb Drop and in all kinds of throughout MLC. And what about if you've got a covert narc with somebody with BPD during MLC? This is totally explosive and dynamic because borderline personality disorder is not the same as narcissism. Somebody with BPD is struggling with abandonment fears that go really deep, emotional dysregulation, totally black and white thinking, intense but unstable relationships, totally intense. So when they get together, you've got a person with BPD is clinging to the narcissist as if it's their savior. And that narcissist it loves being idolized. This is their thing. The BPD partner cycles between idolization and rage. Idolization, rage. The narcissist punishes or withdraws to maintain control of them. Because remember, that BPD person is terrified of abandonment. So the narcissist can use that to really keep them in line. And it helps them feel superior. Both may accuse each other of betrayal or abuse. Both may recruit outsiders for validation. The BPD partner, they can't tolerate abandonment, and the narcissist thrives on knowing that. If you're watching this unfold, whether as a friend or again, a family member, you're going to see instant declarations of love or destiny even. And then you're going to start seeing breakups and reconciliations. Boom, on a loop, repeating. One day the partner's perfect, next day demonic. One day perfect, next day demonic. You're going to see social media explosions, threats, ultimatums. And neither one of them can take full ownership of their behavior. They are just in the mix. And they're going to try to pull you into conflicts and have people take sides. But remember, if you can take one thing from this episode, let it be this. When your body feels tight, drained, or uneasy around someone, believe it. Even if that person insists you're imagining things. Remember, sociopaths and covert narcs don't feel the same gut-level dread that you do. Their nervous systems are wired more for calculation and ego protection than for connection. And when two manipulators collide, it rarely ends in anything resembling real love. And you guys, Bomb Squad, you deserve relationships where you feel safe, grounded, and fully yourself. Thank you for joining me today. If this episode resonated with you, please share it and know that trusting your own intuition is always the bravest choice you can make. Thanks again, you guys, for tuning in to Midlife Crisis Bomb Drop. We have reached over 12,000 downloads and streams. We have hundreds of subscribers, if not over 1,000. You guys, forward-moving spouses, you are not alone. Left behind spouses, you are not alone. Those in crisis, you are certainly not alone. This is just crazy how epidemic this has become. I have a waiting list now of people from around the world that I'm trying to get to. And if you've been through a midlife crisis or been impacted by someone else's and you want to share your story, I'd love to hear from you. Hang in there, you guys. I will get to all of you. Please reach out to me at mlcbombdrop@gmail.com and visit us on Facebook and Instagram, MLC Bomb Drop. And just remember, your voice matters. Your story could be the one that helps someone else feel seen. It could help someone else feel heard. And you know, it will help somebody else feel understood. You are not alone. no matter where you are in your journey. If the bomb was just dropped, the earthquake just happened, if you are 7 or 8 years in and you're coming out of starting to wake up and awaken to this, um, you are not alone. It's sad that this is epidemic, but we're here to provide support. So until next time, take care and live authentically each and every day. Thanks again, you guys.